Our God exhorts us. The Jews returning from Babylon said, "We are to judge by the truth." But what does that mean to do? By showing mercy and justice, so that people may benefit, and by judging all matters according to God's will. In order to please our saving God, let us read about God's admonition, the admonition to the people of Judah. Then the word of the Lord directed Zechariah, saying, "The Lord of hosts, the commander of the armies, once said to your ancestors, 'You must carry out righteous judgment. Each person should treat his brother with steadfast love and compassion. Widows and orphans, foreigners and the poor, none of you should oppress, nor should you conspire in your heart to harm your brothers.' But they refused to listen, but stiffening their necks, dulling their ears so they wouldn't hear. They made their hearts as hard as a diamond, refusing to heed the law and the word of the Lord Almighty delivered by his Spirit, through the message spoken by the old prophets. Therefore, the Lord was exceedingly angry. He declared, 'I called out to them, but they did not listen. Likewise, in the future, when they call upon me, I will not listen. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will scatter them with a strong wind to nations they do not know, and the land they leave will become desolate, so that no one will pass through it, because they have turned this beautiful land into a barren wasteland.'" This passage is about more than 70 years ago. God, through the ancient prophets, admonished the Israelites to show compassion for orphans and widows, and to treat their brothers with steadfast love and mercy. He instructed them to carry out righteous judgment in all their actions, and never to oppress or exploit orphans and widows, nor oppress the poor resident alien. But they did not listen. Their ears would not heed. Instead, they became calloused, and their hearts grew hard as diamonds. Thus, God was exceedingly angry. Anger, our Heavenly Father, is extremely angry. Consequently, he scattered them by the wind to all nations, scattering them among the peoples. It can only be said that they did not obey God's will. They did evil, oppressing widows and orphans and seizing the property of the poor. Thus, God was exceedingly angry. In his anger, God caused the kings of the Gentiles to attack the people of Judah, even destroying Jerusalem, dismantling its walls and ramparts, and demolishing the entire temple. He killed many within the city and took the survivors captive to foreign lands. This means our God is a God who exacts retribution. He rewards the righteous with justice, while the wicked suffer the punishment of their evil. Because of their sins, suffered retribution. If they had acted righteously, they would not have faced this, just as they were about to be destroyed by the foreign Babylonian army. Once upon a time, the king was called King Zedekiah, had listened to the command of the prophet Jeremiah, who said, "Do not oppress the slaves in your own house." After serving as slaves for 7 years, I wish he could be released immediately. They have worked for you long enough. Thus, King Zedekiah and his high officials made covenants one after another. They slaughtered a cow, cut it in two, and swore, saying, "We will heed the prophet's words." For the prophet, speaking through the Lord, declared, "Let us free our slaves." So they swore to free the slaves. But the freedom lasted only a few days. They immediately regretted it, saying, "Oh, no. Since we've already let our slaves go, we can't do this." So they went on to bring back their fellow Israelites. Those brothers of the Israelites who had sold themselves into slavery and forced them back into slavery. But, according to God's law, if a brother sells himself to us, he may serve as a servant for at most 7 years. He serves us for 7 years, and after working for 7 years, he must be set free. Yet King Zedekiah and his officials made a covenant before the Lord, sacrificed a calf, and swore an oath to release the servants in their households, granting them freedom, but, after releasing them, immediately regretted it, yet continued to have them arrested, continuing to oppress them. Therefore, God became angry and declared that Jerusalem would be destroyed, to let them be taken captive to Babylon. Clearly, those who do evil will suffer the consequences, for our God is a God of retribution. Amen.